In our world filled with messy truth, we have lived according to the artificial common sense that was prepared in advance by our civilization. This world began in the 19th century when almost all plants died out and the world became bald mountains and deserts. What kind of being created a lie and fabricated history and made it known all over the world? If history is truly a lie and fabrication, the darkness that created it is too deep and cautious. Even if you hear that everything in history is a lie and fabrication, those who have been watching videos on this channel for a long time will probably think that's true. For those of you who are very recent or who have seen this video for the first time, you may feel that it is impossible for history to be completely fabricated. I'm sure some of you still think that flat Earth is a complete lie. However, the absurd theory of a spherical Earth is definitely a lie and fabrication. And just by watching this video of a Soviet spacewalk, you can tell that the romantic, infinite vacuum of outer space that we have been introduced to in movies like Star Wars and Gundam is a special effect. The jumbo jet is also said to carry 230,000 liters of fuel, which is said to feed the fuselage and the impossibly thin wings. This 230,000 liters of fuel is enough to fill 8 tank trucks. Can the wings and fuselage of this plane hold enough fuel to fill 8 tanker trucks? There are countless lies about even a single passenger airplane. Not only the fuel capacity, but also the principles of jet engines and airplane levitation are probably not disclosed to us. And nutrition and TV are full of lies. What exactly happened since 2020? You all probably know it inside and out. If you touch this, the ad will not be attached to this video again, or in the worst case, the video will be deleted. My channel has been without ads for over a month now. Please consider supporting creators as much as you can. Also, thank you to all the viewers who always support us. Thank you for your help. As usual, I feel quite embarrassed about YouTube streaming due to censorship. However, YouTube is the most influential of all platforms, so we will continue to use it as our main battleground for the time being. Yes, it is considered a problem to mention the fraud, lies, fabrication, and malicious manipulation that lies at the root of how this world works, including in the media and on YouTube. There are conflicting interests in the numerous businesses that have been established based on these lies, falsehoods, and malicious mechanisms. Naturally, such accusatory speech that reveals the truth is exposed to the danger of censorship on YouTube, which is just a business. The objective reality and truth of this world is that history, religion, and everything else is a lie, with countless fabrications and mechanisms for manipulating people's hearts. However, our world was once destroyed around the beginning of the 19th century, and there was a civilization reset. Suppose that all living things, including humans, became extinct once, and Emperor Meiji took over Japan in the late 19th century. How on earth did these people learn all these lies and false history, science, social systems, and central bank exploitative systems? And how were they able to so thoroughly indoctrinate the world with false and fabricated brainwashing information? This means that it is not human work. In this way, generations of us, including all kinds of famous professors and brilliant people, were fooled by this lie and fabricated common sense. To construct such a well-prepared lie in such a short period of time is an impossible feat for us humans, who are easily fooled into believing it. In that case, history is true. The central bank's fraud system has arisen naturally over many years, and the Earth is a sphere. NASA reached the moon with Apollo, and the Soviet Union was quick to send humans into the vacuum of space and record non-special effects footage. Everything about nutrition and medicine is true, and everything that has happened since 2020 is serious. In addition, the jumbo jet is loaded with jet fuel equivalent to 8 tanker trucks, burning an absurd amount of fuel with an incredible amount of heat, allowing it to fly through the sky with explosive propulsion. Are all of these true and there are no lies? Or, as I said in the beginning, is it all a lie, a fabrication, and a whole mess? That decision is essentially yours to make, not mine. I'm pretty sure I know the answer. It's so obvious that YouTube never tires of making videos that are considered antisocial, week after week. This is because I believe that the day will come when this all too obvious truth will permeate the brains of countless dull and absent-minded Japanese people and people from other countries as well. I won't go into details in this video, but the fact that buildings around the world have their first floors buried suggests that the world was struck by an incredible disaster in a relatively recent period. Probably sometime in the first half of the 19th century. The fact that we are completely unaware of this clearly shows that history is a lie. What on earth happened in this world? As I mentioned in the previous video, are aliens, perhaps the remnants of beings from a previous civilization, living underground as part of the deep state all over the world? And why is this deep state controlling our government from underground? If there was no universe, where did these aliens come from? In today's video, I will explore these questions with my own thoughts. In order to solve this mystery, we will first consider the mechanism related to aliens and fallen angels in this world. The structure of this world has a characteristic that the heavier the density, the lower the existence sinks. This characteristic is a very important point. Beings with light density rise upwards, and beings with heavy density sink downwards. Light things float and heavy things sink. At first glance, this is common sense. Official science says that molecules with high momentum become lighter, and that temperature is a factor in increasing that momentum. It is said that molecules with low momentum become heavier, and as the temperature decreases, the momentum further decreases. Therefore, in a solid, the molecular momentum is the slowest, in a liquid it is faster, and in a gas it is even faster. Ice is the coldest and has the slowest molecules. Water is warmer and faster, and water that boils into steam is hotter and faster. Consciousness and soul may be said to be energy itself. There is a light density energy and heavy density energy. There is a less dense consciousness, emotion, and a heavier density consciousness, emotion. There are souls with light density and souls with heavy density. A light soul is a cheerful soul that can move around actively and is also described as having a high vibration, which means that it has a high frequency band. A heavy soul is heavy, authoritative, dominated by fear, anxiety, and guilt, and is rather slow and heavy, with a low vibration and low frequency range. The spiritual world is a world of only energy bodies. There is no body or substance. It's something that's higher up than our surface. Our three-dimensional world is a physical world where matter exists. It is located in a more dense location and at a lower altitude than the spiritual world. And it is thought that there is a world beneath our world that is denser than the surface of our earth. That world is filled with heavier energy than our world. It may seem a little off topic, but we will analyze the structure of this world from the perspective of phenomena that occur in our bodies. When blood circulation deteriorates in our bodies, the area becomes hardened, resulting in stiffness and lumps. It is an abnormal condition from the perspective of our body, and it makes the body unable to function. The worst of such conditions is cancer. Cancer is a phenomenon in which carbohydrates from foods such as rice, brown rice, and bread, which cause poor blood circulation, stick to the body and harden due to poor blood circulation. As you all know, in the worst-case scenario, the body can die from the cancer. The heavenly world is a light world where energy actively circulates and there is no physical body. And our Earth's surface is a world where energy is stagnant or slow, and stagnation occurs. The underground world has more energy stagnant than the surface of the Earth. It might be hell. An individual is a state in which the energy that can freely and actively go anywhere is stagnant for some reason. The individual is the ego, myself, and each of you. Each of us is a free, active, unbounded spiritual energy that has solidified and stagnated as a single individual. Of course, our energy, which is a soul and does not have a body, has fallen from the heavenly world, a place with high vibrations. It is in the body of a descendant of cloned humans developed in the 19th century. Living organisms cannot function without the energy, soul, that drives them. Living things have a basic soul. It is also believed that the three-dimensional world, the world with physical bodies and matter, came into existence after the spiritual world. Just as Plato's theory of ideas says, this world may be a world created by the projection of the world of ideas. The world of ideas is a world made only of consciousness and data, so naturally there is no physical body. However, almost all the substances and events realized in our world are considered to be rehashings of what used to be the world of ideas. Our world may be said to be a world of projection, which is simply a projection of the spiritual world. It could even be called a mirror world. The spiritual world seems to exist in the sky above our physical surface. It is a world of stars made of plasma. The world of stars is called the astral world. The expression that people return to the stars when they die is naturally used. It is said that if you pray to the stars, your wishes will come true. It is said that when Christ was born, the prophets saw a star falling and rushed to the spot. Star seeds are the seeds of stars, the children of stars. In astrology, it is said that the fortune of a person's soul can be determined from the placement of the stars on the date and time of their birth. If we take all of this into account and understand this, we can see that the source of our souls is truly located in the world of stars above our heads. Its source is the spiritual world, the heavenly world, and the astral world. In this spiritual world, the events of the three-dimensional world above and below the ground were probably first depicted. It's like a computer game. Chess, shogi, and cards were probably games to kill time that originated in the spiritual world. War games, chivalry, and bushido were also born. Before we knew it, that war game led to the creation of a three-dimensional world and the creation of this earthly world. Because wars, battles, and strife were lower than the vibrations of peace and love in the heavenly world. The more the game of time-killing in the spiritual world progresses, the more the energy frequency of the beings playing it decreases, which creates a world with matter. This is probably why so many sculptures of antique buildings feature battle motifs. Among the things created in the world of ideas, those that evoke lower vibrational emotions are now born in this world as matter. And the beings, the angels, who had nurtured their low vibration emotions through war games in the world of ideas, suddenly fell from heaven. The most excellent, wisest, and most knowledgeable being was Lucifer. And because he was so talented and obsessed with his excellence, his vibrations lowered and he fell into the hellish underground. Lucifer was too good to believe in the Creator. I believe that this distrust stems from a deep fear that if we follow the Creator's will, we will eventually lose our ego, called oneness. In other words, we will face the death and extinction of existence, which led us to despair. I feel Lucifer despaired, thinking that if he lived a shining and shining life as a holy being, he would eventually be absorbed into oneness and lose his sense of self. As a result, Lucifer became obsessed with his ego. I guess he started to focus on himself as an individual and started pursuing his ego. The pursuit of the ego is accompanied by various negative elements such as egoism, fear, anxiety, and jealousy of God. But thanks to it, it is just a flow of energy that brings a new sense of unity to this once difficult world. It seems that a three-dimensional world that has value and remains in memories and records has been created. The third dimension cannot exist without ego, greed, selfishness, and personal assertion. This third dimension is possible because of the low-frequency energy of the ego. This can be a very confusing concept. As I write this text, I am also trying to figure out the essence of what came to me. However, we will further explore this from the perspective of where aliens and fallen angels came from. Lucifer, so to speak, was so obsessed with his value as an individual that he became too heavy in the spiritual world of heaven, and it seems that he sank down to the world of greed, which is as heavy as hell. We don't know if Lucifer and Yahweh are the same person. However, since Yahweh is a very jealous and territorial being, and even needs sacrifices, I think that the place where he could exist is not in heaven, but in hell. Unsatisfied with a fleeting and light existence that was just a flow of energy, some being in the heavens stopped the energy, stagnated it, created a lump, and created a three-dimensional world. Probably. And soul beings with egos who want to reincarnate and have fun in the third dimension, which is the world of ego, which seems to be fun to kill time in the heavenly world, have fallen into this world. Probably. Of course, that's who we are. And the more conscious, ego-bound beings bound by fear have fallen underground, becoming beings such as Greys, reptilians, and Dracos. At some point, the fallen angels of the underground, the survivors of a previous civilization, began to propagate their settings to fit the concept of the cosmic fraud that they had created. The setting is alien. We do not know how many people at the top of the world have been told about the space fraud. It seems that consciousness manipulation is being carried out to promote the underground people as aliens, including the human perpetrators of such space fraud. It would be bad if the true nature of the beings in underground bases and those who occasionally ride UFOs on the surface were known. They are supposed to be angels who fell into the hell-like earth because their spirituality deteriorated to the point where they could be said to have committed sins in the heavenly world and were dominated by their egos. We are probably angels sent from heaven to create a physical world called 3D. You could also call it a starseed. From that perspective, the idea that the fallen angels and demons underground are aliens is not a complete lie. It must have actually fallen from a star in the sky. Even godlike beings in heaven will fall to hell if they are dominated by emotions such as fear, sadness, guilt, and jealousy. It's a very simple wave and frequency system. By lowering the emotional state, the soul-only existence lowers its frequency and becomes a physical body. On the other hand, if your emotions become more positive and your ego becomes less and less and eventually disappears, you will no longer be able to stay in your physical body. The soul will first leave the body, and at first glance, it will appear as though it has reached death, and the body will perish. And since the soul does not leave behind a physical form, it continues to flow as something that is constantly moving and fluid. Eventually, when the ego is completely removed from the soul and the frequency increases to its maximum, it will eventually become one with the source, and its very existence will be absorbed into the source. Lucifer was probably very afraid of that. That's probably why they hated and were jealous of their creator. In order to keep yourself from disappearing, you have no choice but to have an ego. And in fact, the fear of disappearing is what causes you to have such a strong ego. Lucifer, who was almost omniscient and omnipotent, hated and was jealous of the Creator and fell into the depths of the earth. I believe that they captured the godlike souls on the surface of the earth from underground, pulled them underground, and turned them into beautiful sculptures. Lucifer is probably directing a long and overly detailed plan from underground, either to draw people on the surface of the earth underground or to prevent them from connecting to heaven. In various ways, they tempt, deceive, kill, and hate each other, those who possess the soul of the Creator. In order to prevent energy communication with the heavenly source, the genes of the clones were limited and the power of God was sealed away. Furthermore, they developed plants for slaves, such as rice and wheat, spread a food culture centered on noodles, and spread the use of MSG and other chemical seasonings. Alcohol, cigarettes, drugs, and various other things were prepared by Lucifer for people from the 19th century to prevent them from communicating with their organelle creator and the heavenly world. The same goes for carnivory, which is just cannibalism. This carnivore is a ploy and a curse to draw humans into a completely egoistic, murderous, demonic being. We ourselves are probably gods or angels sent from heaven to this earth, also called star seed. I'm sure you've been sent to this messy three-dimensional earth with some kind of outrageous task. This must have something to do with the fact that these demonic people, including Lucifer, are thoroughly deceiving and exploiting humans and animals on earth. These fallen angels and demons, who are said to be aliens, use our ability to create to transform this world into a heavier, hell-like world. It seems like they are trying to make their existence eternal, even if we allow human and animal sacrifices to be made to the demons forever. The task for us, starseeds, God's messengers, and angels, is to create a heaven-like world in the third dimension on this earthly world. A group of fallen angels, Satan, Lucifer, and Yahweh, who were trying to turn the surface world into hell, were exerting influence from underground, and the third-dimensional world was being run by greed and money. In fact, countless hellish wars were fought in the 20th century. On the other hand, we are trying to make the tertiary world, which was created when the energy beneath this heavenly world is stagnation and division, and ego is rampant, like heaven. We were dispatched to transform the Earth's surface, which was purposely made by storing energy, into a heaven-like world where energy circulation is active, The frequency is high, and nothing is stagnant, completely detoxified and purified. That's why there are. First of all, we are trying to perfect our blood flow and circulation by detoxing our bodies, which have become severely malfunctioning due to body fluids and blood stagnation due to carbohydrates from rice and wheat. I mean, it's not a coincidence. We are trying to do the same thing to this entire planet. Things like stiffness and bumps that obstruct the circulation of energy are no longer needed on the surface of this earth. For example, there are very rich people and large-scale capitalists who steal large amounts of money from people and use it to save money. For example, even if they are not very rich, they are still dominated by fear and anxiety and are still able to do nothing but protect themselves and fight with and steal from various people. It may be a bit strange to say that we directly eliminate these people, but we can simply avoid receiving energy from them and not sending energy to them, thereby bypassing the energy. It seems possible. If such detours spread rapidly, it would seem that evil, large-scale capitalists and energy vampires would be unable to exploit the world and would simply dry up. And we ourselves should try not to be controlled by demonic consciousness any longer. Try not to carry things as much as possible. Be light and always be aware that we are energy and use that energy actively. I think we should focus on making them. In the end, you should end up giving your own positive energy to your so-called friends who are actively using it. Of course, you should not have anything to do with energy vampires or gold ghosts. It is no longer your problem that your energy is being exploited. This is a worldwide problem. For the sake of Earth, the surface of the Earth, and the heavens, we must not give away any energy to vampires or greedy beings. Do you understand the nature of aliens, such as greys and reptilians, and fallen angels such as Lucifer, Satan, and Yahweh? And how did these beings fall from the heavenly world, the spiritual world, in the first place? Did you recognize its essence? And are you all satisfied with who you are? Perhaps we are the products of a clone created from Christ, effectively possessing the physical bodies of children of God. And that soul is a starseed, an angel, a child of God. Its mission is to bring heaven to earth. Just like Plato's theory of ideas, it has been our mission since before we were born to bring the light, comfortable, and good world of the heavens into reality here on earth. The characteristic of the heavenly world and the Creator's energy is circulation. Our bodies have this characteristic. And the Creator and our bodies don't just keep that energy contained, they send it out to create something and are looking for someone to share it with. The characteristic of Earth is that by sharing and circulating energy between independent individuals, it is possible to create an energy flow similar to the heavenly world while maintaining an ego and individuality. Now, in this way, our purpose is to realize something like heaven on earth. Of course, there is no need for heroes, and it is a big trap that all creative works depict hero-like things. This is because the original design of this world is for everyone to contribute to this world independently, and to circulate energy. This was a pretty blunt discussion, but how did you all feel about my flash of inspiration? Therefore, only those who are motivated to become vegan and limit carbohydrates, who are motivated to use Trauma Note to eliminate the trauma that is ruining themselves, and who have actually tried Trauma Note can join the online membership. We are starting a salon. But this is only for the Japanese-speaking audience, but not for foreign audience. For those of us who have been learning about this world full of lies and malice for 4 years now, are we able to purify ourselves in this way and seriously want to make a positive impact on this world? This is a salon where only the people who are there gather together.
Toki wo koeru umi kaze Shio to mukuro no nami Ima watashi no aida wo Surinukete wa nageku Utsuro na hito と見並ぶ鉄格子の国傲慢と裏切りを諦めで潰した愛と綺麗に飾ってどれだけの命詰めばやがて気づくのでしょうか血みどろの叫びすらも檻の向こうに隠して砕いてちぎって罪深き人の闇果て知らぬ欲は自己矛盾の声さえ雑音と捉える冷酷な作業のようにどれだけの涙飲めば世界は変わるのでしょうかほんのひとさじだけの甘さにいつまでも勝てない従うばかりで訳の山見つめても今も続く残虐に手は差し伸べられずどれだけの命詰めばやがて気づくのでしょう